tell you that a few DIY crafts could change the world. Might sound impossible, and initially I thought so too. How can one person change the world? My name is Aahana Kumar, and I stand here to tell you that DIY can change the world. Or rather, I believe that is the best way to change the world. For those who are still wondering, what is DIY? DIY is do it yourself. DIY is when you make something out of your own skills, creativity, and resource. Resources being used are not bought, but rather using things laying around and you don't need anymore. To name a few: pieces of cardboard laying around, a piece of broken glass, etc. So you can turn these things into a small storage box or glass art. But before we move forward, let me share my story on how I believe that DIY can change the world. I loved painting, and I always loved painting images of thrown away papers and cardboards. One day, I decided it was time to get a little bit of a 3D effect to them. So I added many 3D shapes made of plastic. It became completely 3D. And then I realized that if I can make this DIY craft, I can make more DIY crafts. And that's how I started my DIY journey. To be clearer on how this can actually change the world, let me revisit another incident. I was 7 years old and I went to an ocean cleanup drive with my parents. When I started cleaning up, I saw many objects like plastic bottles, wrappers, papers, glass, clothes, and so on. I thought, why these objects have come here? Are people not aware about making their own crafts? Are people not aware about reducing, reusing, recycling on their own at home? And lastly, why do we have to create such a situation for our earth and its oceans? As they say, be the change that you wish to see in the world, said by Gandhi ji. And then I realized that keeping our Mother Earth clean and happy by 3 hours is only possible if we do it ourselves. The best way to fight today's biggest problem of plastic and pollution present everywhere is by DIY. But how can 3 hours change the world? Today, we are fighting climate change and many natural disasters due to pollution, plastic, and unwanted waste everywhere. The 3 R's, as we know, are reduce, reuse, and recycle. I'm going to explain each of these R's and perhaps give a few tips on how to practice it. Reduce means to reduce the amount of plastic being made. Reuse, as in to be able to use something multiple times. And lastly, recycle means to take an item and make multiple things out of that exact item. So, if we reduce plastic, we can stop creating more pollution and keep the environment clean. And if we reuse paper, we can reduce the amount of trees being cut and keep the environment clean. And so if we buy as many recyclable items as we can recycle all our items. In DIYs especially, you're practicing all the 3 R's. You're reusing in DIY. So you're also recycling. Because if you're making something that includes things that have been used multiple times and now you don't need. You're also being minimal and reducing by not buying and making your own thing. But the problem is that if no one knows about this, then how is anybody going to do it? That's why we have to spread awareness step by step. First, your family and yourself. Then, your friends and teachers. Then, your society, state and country. We have to motivate them by doing it in front of them. For example, by seeing me doing DIY and my thoughts for using DIY for making the world a better place, my mother's DIY habits, which she learned in her childhood, were reignited. She also got motivated by seeing me doing purposeful DIY, that she started helping me and we do DIYs together now. For raising awareness, we can talk on the radio and use social media for connecting with people and sharing this idea with them. Short movies and skits can also help people understand the present situation and act accordingly. If government can appreciate and give prizes to the people who are doing good in saving the world through DIY craft, it will be a good motivation to continue and do more. But you might be thinking, why should we follow the 3 R's? The 3 R's are important because if we don't follow them, our surroundings wouldn't look like what we see today. Yes, how? You see, 3 R's are reduce, reuse and recycle. These R's are vital for keeping our society clean. If we will not use things responsibly, it can lead to many problems like air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, and last but not the least, global warming. Actually, we are facing it already. As we know, greenhouse gases create greenhouse effects by trapping heat in the Earth's atmosphere, where pollution increases temperature in the planet's average temperature. In the result, the world is now warming faster than any point in recorded history. Warmer temperature over time leads to changing in weather patterns and disrupting the usual balance of nature, causing a lot of harm to the earth we live in. We need to take a few steps immediately to stop this from increasing. Steps are vital because they take you to the next level. So while going to the next level, you're making more and more people aware. These levels will someday take us to a level at which we can change the world. Now, do you have a lot of homework to do from your classes or from school, or are you too busy with work? If you do, then DIY is something to do when you have free time or to give yourself a break from your other work. It also helps you have your me time and follows the 3 R's like I had told you. Hence, saving the world and making you happy in one go. But before I conclude, I want to share with all of you that last Diwali, I ensured that I did not use any plastic or crackers and instead celebrated with my family by lighting colorful lamps made of used cardboard and leftover wax. I went ahead and asked my entire family to stop using firecrackers, and so they did. If we all together, 1 billion people, can apply our creativity and have a do-it-yourself attitude, we can certainly change the world step by step through DIY craft. I have done it and you can too. We all can do it if we think creative, spread awareness and commit to 3 R's by DIY. Thank you.